Hello, it's been a while. Is it February when I last did an album review? I'm going to do one today, and before I get going, I know I've been saying for months I'm going to do Morning Glory next. And this isn't Morning Glory, because reason I've got two Oasis albums left to review, definitely maybe a Morning Glory, and I'm kind of holding off on them because, I mean, you can probably guess what I'm going to say about them, because, you know, they're two great albums, so I will eventually do them, but yeah, I just wanted to do this more, to be honest, which is a David Bowie review. I haven't reviewed any of Bowie's albums yet, and I love David Bowie, so I want to do some of his albums. So I'm going to start with this one, Station to Station, which, yeah, is an absolute brilliant album. So we'll get to the background to begin with, the usual stuff, so yeah, see you in a bit.
Puts her down behind the bridge and lays her down. She runs to my life's one thing. Am I still too young?
So with 1975's Young Americans, Bowie had been heading in a soul direction. It was also around this period when he took up his first ever acting role in the film The Man Who Fell to Earth. So Bowie played the part of the character Thomas Newton. He was an alien who had, well, fell to Earth. So Newton had been sent to find water to save his own people back home. And I should point out that I've never actually seen the film, so forgive me if I'm wrong with any of this here. But Newton had arrived at Earth and met a girl who led him down a sort of path of, shall we say, not human corruption, but led him towards alcohol and sex and all that sort of stuff. And Newton got addicted to alcohol. So the director of the film warned Bowie that Newton would likely stay with him for a while after production had finished. Regardless of this, Bowie had asked if he could develop the character's look himself. The character of Newton, however, did carry through into Bowie's public image, and not just physically, also mentally, as Newton's air of fragility and aloofness also carried over into Bowie's personal life. So during this period, Bowie was living in LA, and he was fueled by an astronomical cocaine habit, and he was also simply living off a diet of peppers and milk. Due to his cocaine habit, he was living in a state of constant psychic terror. His house, according to one report, was filled with ancient Egyptian artifacts, and Bowie could often be found burning black candles, seeing bodies fall past his window, having his semen stolen by witches, receiving secret messages off the Stones, and living in morbid fear of Jimmy Page. So this was obviously a bad time for Bowie mentally. In later years, when looking back at his time in LA, Bowie would simply say, when describing LA, that the fucking place should be wiped off the face of the earth. Anyway, with the combination of Thomas Newton and Bowie's drug addiction and constant psychic fear and terror, he developed his next character, the Thin White Duke, who he would now become.
Fame makes a man take things over. Fame makes him loose and hard to swallow. Fame puts him there where things are hollow. Fame.
So the Duke dressed in a white shirt, black trousers and a waistcoat, and could often be found with a packet of cigarettes sticking out of his waistcoat pocket. The character sang about romance, but he felt nothing. He was described as ice masquerading as fire. The character also made a number of very controversial remarks, the most famous being Hitler was one of the first rock stars, and went on to say that he was just as good as Jagger. In later years, Bowie blamed the drugs and said it was all just method acting, and simply referred to the Duke as a nasty character indeed. But it wasn't just Bowie's personal and social life that the Duke had made his way into, it also made his way into his music. Station to Station was recorded in late 1975 in LA. The exact dates of the sessions are debated because no one can really remember, because most people involved in it were off the head on drugs. Producer Tony Visconti did not take part in this due to conflicting schedules. I believe he was originally asked to do it, but he just couldn't do it because he was busy with other things. Despite Visconti not taking part, Bowie did manage to get a stable lineup of a band, which would stay with him until Scary Monsters and Super Freaks in 1980. The band consisted of George Murray on bass, Dennis Davis on drums and Carlos Alomar on rhythm guitar. Bowie has since said he can't remember recording the album. All he can remember is that it was recorded in LA, and he can only remember this because he read it in a book. And it's not just Bowie who says this. Most of the band and people involved in the sessions Can't remember any of it because they were off the head on drugs. So the artwork for Station to Station features a black and white still of Bowie as the character Thomas Newton in the film, The Man Who Fell to Earth. I believe this is him either getting in or getting out of his spaceship. But anyway, the cover itself, Bowie wanted it to be black and white and a cropped image, as he felt the full colour one made the sky look too artificial. Prior to the release of the album, Golden Years was released as its lead single in November 1975. The single reached number 8 in the UK chart and number 10 in the US charts, although arguably it wasn't really an accurate representation of the rest of the album. So Station to Station itself was released on the 23rd of January 1976, and it reached number 5 in the UK charts and number 3 in the US charts. This would be his highest charting US album until 2013's The Next Day. So the album was also arguably heading musically towards the direction he would go with his Berlin trilogy, which started with Low in 1977. But of Station to Station itself, Bowie summed the album up as being great, damn good. But due to his disconnected state in the recording sessions, he said he listened to it as a piece of work by an entirely different person. So arguably when Bowie listened to this album, he just listened to it the same way as what we all do, from sort of an outside perspective. As he's also said since he's not really sure what the lyrics are about, as he can't remember writing them.
Return of the thin white Duke, throwing darts in lovers' eyes. The return of the thin white Duke, making sure white stays. Once there were mountains and mountains, once there was sunburst to soar with, and once I could never be down.
So there we go, that was all the background stuff. We'll do the actual review now, the track by track thing. So first things first, there's only 6 tracks on this album. So unless you know the album, which I'm assuming you'll probably know it if you're watching this video. But if you don't know it, you're probably thinking 6 tracks, that's not really a lot for an album, you know. But when you look at the running length of this album, I think it's 38 minutes, which is more or less the same running length as Young Americans, the album before this, and Low and Heroes, which are the 2 albums that came after this. So these are 6 very long songs. I think Golden Years is the shortest one, and that's about 4.5 minutes, maybe just short of 5. So anyway, there's the back. I think I showed you it. It's not a gatefold, I won't get the record out. This is a remaster 2016, I think. Was this 2016? It was part of that, was it that box set? Who Can I Be Now, I think it was called. 74 to 76. I haven't got the box set, but yeah, this is what the album's from, that version. So it's the newest remaster of it. Anyway, track by track, the album opens with Station to Station, which is the title track, obviously, and the longest song that Bowie has ever done. And one of my all-time favourite songs of his. So, a 10-minute song. Naturally, when you hear a song's 10 minutes, you'll be thinking, oh god, no, this is going to go on forever, it's going to drag. But this song, for me personally, it doesn't feel like 10 minutes. It's like, I don't know. It's funny, I get to the end of the 10 minutes and I think, oh, is that it? I want more. I want more. But, yeah. So anyway, it sort of builds up. First, I think it's about 3 minutes 17, I think, when the vocals kick in. So for those first 3 and a bit minutes, it's just sort of building up. And I've heard it summed up before as a train picking up speed, which is a very good thing. It starts, a very good analogy. It starts off really slowly, and it builds itself up in speed until the vocals kick in with the haunting vocal performance of the return of the Thin White Duke throwing darts in lovers' eyes. Yeah. It's kind of lyrically, to a degree, similar-ish to the Smiths, I suppose you could say. Although obviously this is 10 years before the Smiths came along, so yeah, maybe Morrissey and Johnny Marr and everyone and the rest of them listen to this album. Just an idea. But anyway, and then obviously it does pick up speed with the Once There Were Mountains on Mountains bit, and not the side effects of the cocaine. I think we can all kind of guess what he's singing about here. Yeah, but it's a great song. It is. I love it. I do genuinely love it. It's probably my favourite song on the album, if I'm honest. Possibly my favourite Bowie song. No, maybe not my favourite, but yeah, it's one of his very best songs up at the top. After that comes the second track and the lead single from the album, Golden Years. I believe he wanted Elvis. He wrote this for Elvis, and Elvis was given it, and he said, nah. So it must have been just before he died, but why did Elvis turn it down? I mean, it's better than all the crap he was putting out at this point. But yeah, Bowie does it brilliantly. It's a brilliant song. And yeah, it's definitely the most famous song on the album. It's really catchy. Nice little bit of a dance song, I suppose. And yeah, it's a great song. Not a lot to say other than it's a great song. Word on a Wing comes next. Again, I think this song, Station to Station, are my favourites. Great lyrics. One of my favourite ever lyrics is the opening line of this song. In this world of... that's how much I love it. I can't remember it. In this world of grand illusion, you came out of my dreams and into my life. It's something along them lines, which just sends chills down my spine. Oh, what a lyric, you know. But it's a funny song because it comes across as a love song, but is it in a good way or in a bad way? That's the thing. That's why I love the Thin White Duke. It's probably my favourite Bowie character because it's like it said before, it's ice disguised as fire. Ice trying to be fire. And you kind of get that in this song, you know, he's kind of like singing romantically. And then next thing he's singing, you know, I still care about myself, you know, as in kind of like you know, it's me I care about. I've got to put myself first. Maybe just my interpretation of it, but yeah, it's a damn good, brilliant song, Word on a Wing. I don't think, was it done live a lot? It's definitely been done live. I don't know if it was done live around the period this album came out, but it was definitely, I've seen a video of him doing it in the 90s, so yeah, it's a great song. TBC 1-5 comes next. A little bit faster, this song. Not like really fast, but yeah. Nice songs. It's something to do with his TV. Him and Iggy Pop were watching the TV and he was off his head on drugs and it came to life or something. Yeah, I love this song. You know, it's in a pattern here with this album. But yeah, it's just a good song, TBC 1-5. And yeah, I believe he did it live on the tour to support this album. Something I didn't say actually, this album, all 6 tracks, I think got released as singles. I don't think, some of them were quite a bit later on, but yeah, they all got released as singles. But yeah, TBC 1-5, great tune. Stay comes next. This one is my least favourite on the album. Don't hate it, but yeah. This is the only one where I start to think towards the end of it, is it going to finish? The rest of them are more like, is that it? You know, keep going for all I care, but this one I'm like, kind of glad when this one's over. But yeah, it's a good enough song. I like it, I do like it. Wild as the Wind comes next, and that's the closing track. This song is a cover, and before I did this review, I should have checked who did it originally, and I forgot to. But it wasn't a Bowie original. And I've got to say, this could be one of Bowie's best ever vocal performances. I don't think he's praised enough for his vocals, but on this song, they are haunting his vocals on here. And he did it when he played Glastonbury in 2000. It got released as an album last year. This was the first song he did. This was the opening song he did of his set. And it was just as good live. It was spine-tinglingly good. And it's a brilliant closing track. And yeah, it's a beautiful song. It's a beautiful, beautiful song. So yeah, Station to Station. Only 6 tracks. 6 long tracks. Yeah, probably my favourite Bowie album, to be honest. It's definitely up there, top 5. Probably top 3. Probably top, to be honest. I just like it because it's cold, it's dark, which is probably not a good thing to admit to real liking, but I do. You know, it's like he was in a bad place, and albums like this wouldn't get made today because they'd just go to rehab or something, but Bowie uses addictions and suffering to make an absolute masterpiece of an album that he can't even remember making. But But yeah, 10 out of 10, masterpiece. And yeah, that's all I've got to say really. So yeah, probably do another Bowie album review soon, and eventually I'll do those Oasis ones. But yeah, Station to Station, 10 out of 10, top album. See you soon.